Good morning, sunshine, evening, moonlight, wherever you're at. This is Charlie.
Suffers with pens in hand, questions deep, ain't life grand?
The moon, Earth's nosy roommate who doesn't pay rent but still manages to control the tides. It's a big deal. We've worshipped it, written songs about it, and even blamed it for our questionable late-night decisions. But why? Why does this big rock in the sky have us all howling like wolves?
So let it fly, find new ways till we die.
Today, we're covering the moon's starring role in human culture, some of its scientifically cool tricks, and the weird stuff people believe about it. So put on your rocket suit and let's get launching.
It's like old beds, laid awake in our beds, wonder wild, feel alive, consciousness to revive. Nobody cares about the chicken's minds, the one we're kicking.
Back in the day, people didn't have streaming, so they stared at the sky. Enter the moon. The Babylonians made calendars out of it. The Greeks turned it into a goddess, Artemis, who apparently had nothing better to do than hunt and look mystical. In Hindu culture, the moon's phases symbolize life's eternal cycle, birth, death, and rebirth. It's all very poetic if you're into that. And then there's us, 21st century humans scrolling through Instagram under a full moon going, #moonchild. Progress, right? The moon's rebranded itself as a modern icon. Lunar phases are everywhere, on tattoos, yoga mats, and that one weird friend who's always burning sage. The full moon is for manifesting. The new moon is for setting intentions. And the waxing crescent? Well, who even knows? Maybe it's for doing your taxes. Everyone's just making it up, and honestly, it's kind of adorable. But there's a deeper reason it resonates. In modern branding and personal identity, the moon symbolizes transformation, mystery, and connection. It's a universal icon that feels personal yet collective, helping brands and individuals alike tap into something timeless. That's a marketing win if there ever was one. And let's not forget the worshippers, from full moon rituals to howling at blue moons. Yes, that's a thing. People are convinced the moon is basically their personal therapist/genie. The moon doesn't just star in personal rituals. It's got a recurring role in major religious holidays. Take Ramadan, for example. It's based on the Islamic lunar calendar, which means its start and end are determined by the sighting of the crescent moon. The reasoning? The moon's phases were historically the easiest way to track time in pre-modern societies. Similarly, Jewish holidays like Passover and Christian ones like Easter also align with lunar cycles, showing how deeply embedded the moon is in human tradition. Other cultures have their own moontide celebrations, like the Chinese Mid-Autumn Festival, which revolves around the full moon. It's about family, harvest, and eating mooncakes, a dessert so dense it could probably double as a hockey puck. Still, it's delicious.
Nani?
Okay, here's the nerdy bit. The moon controls tides because its gravitational pull is strong enough to move entire oceans. Pretty cool, right? But before you think, hey, maybe it's controlling my emotions too, let's clear something up. Unless you're 70% ocean, the moon's not that into you.
I don't like you. I don't like you at all.
The moon also keeps Earth's axis stable, which is why we don't wobble around like a drunk planet. Let's talk about this whole full moons make people crazy thing. Fun fact, the word lunatic comes from the Latin luna, meaning moon. Apparently, people thought moonlight could turn you into a werewolf. But science says no. Multiple studies found no link between full moons and increased crime, hospital visits, or bad Tinder dates. I know, disappointing, huh? But does the moon affect biology? Well, sort of. Some researchers have explored the connection between the lunar cycle and human biological rhythms, particularly women's menstrual cycles, which average 28 days, eerily close to the moon's 29.5-day orbit. While no direct causal relationship has been proven, the parallel has fascinated scientists and mystics alike. It's one of those cases where nature seems to hint at a deeper connection, even if we don't fully understand it yet. Although if you're someone who gets cranky on a full moon, maybe it's just you. Did you ever think about that? Let's get into the weird stuff. Moon worshipping. People dance under full moons, light candles, and release negative energy. Sounds great, but does it work? Probably not, unless by release they mean post about it on Instagram, in which case, nailed it. The blood moon ritual, which is found in various cultures, is when the lunar eclipse casts a red hue on the moon. It's seen as a powerful event in many traditions. Some secretive societies and mystical circles perform rituals during this time to harness the moon's energy, often invoking deities of darkness, transformation, or rebirth. The rituals sometimes involve blood sacrifices, metaphorical or literal, to gain personal power or cleanse away negative influences. The moon bathing, found in ancient Celtic and Druidic traditions, was a ritual performed under a full moon to absorb its mystical energies. Often people would take a midnight walk, barefoot on the earth, or bathe in a natural body of water to absorb the moon's transformative energy. There are also legends that speak of people being cursed or blessed by the moon's rays, especially if performed on an eclipse night. The Tengu moon ritual, which is found in some lesser-known Japanese folklore, is a mystical ritual that takes place during a moonless night, under the moon's shadow. The ritual is connected to the Tengu, mythical creatures often portrayed as protectors, but also mischievous and dangerous. Worshippers would gather in remote mountain shrines, perform chants, and leave offerings of strange items like feathers and bells to invoke the Tengu's protection. The ritual was said to allow travelers to pass safely through haunted forests, but also to cause madness in those who dared to participate without respect. The black moon ritual refers to the rare occurrence when two new moons appear in a single month. In occult traditions, this is seen as a time for deep personal transformation or to attempt contacting spirits from other realms. The ritual is said to be particularly intense, involving dark, hidden magic, and is often associated with shadow work, facing one's deepest fears. It's believed that those who attempt such rituals without deep understanding may be cursed or become haunted by spirits they unintentionally summon. The moonlight sacrifice, found in some ancient Egyptian practices, were secret ceremonies conducted on the full moon in honor of the goddess Hathor, who represented love, fertility, and music, but also had a dark, destructive side when angered. One little-known practice involved offerings of milk, honey, and silver under the moon's glow, while stories spoke of an ominous moonlit sacrifice that could either grant eternal favor or lead to a soul's wandering in darkness.
We request that everybody stays calm at the current moment, for there is a zombie apocalypse currently happening on the West Coast.
The witching hour moon ritual is centered around the eerie period between midnight and 3 a.m., often called the witching hour, when it's believed that the veil between the living and the dead is thinnest. In many European cultures, people would gather under the full moon, share scary stories, and chant incantations to protect themselves from malevolent spirits or summon good fortune. The ritual often involved brewing potions, using moonlit herbs, and performing dances meant to invoke the spirits of the ancestors. The silent moon chant, in some Mexican rituals tied to the Day of the Dead. There's a lesser-known moon ritual where silent chants are performed in the moonlight to communicate with the spirits of ancestors. The ritual is done during the full moon closest to the Day of the Dead. Those participating will walk silently through a graveyard, facing the moon and whispering names of the dead. It's said that the moon's light helps guide the souls back to the earthly realm during this night of connection. Then there are blue moons. They're rare, hence the phrase once in a blue moon, but they're not actually blue. It's just a name. So if you're out there thinking the moon is blue tonight, must be magical, nope. It's just a marketing gimmick for people who buy crystals. Modern festivals like Burning Man, Coachella, or the Electric Daisy Carnival, for example, have become contemporary equivalents of ancient rituals, offering a space for deep personal connection, self-expression, and collective transcendence. While rooted in creativity and radical self-expression, these festivals embrace elements of mystery, transformation, and communal rituals akin to those practiced in ancient times. Participants immerse themselves in temporary worlds that allow for exploration of identity, freedom, and connection to something larger than themselves, often through art, music, and shared experiences. Similar to ancient practices that tapped into cycles, nature, and spiritual connection, such events foster a sense of belonging and transformation, symbolized by acts like the burning of the effigy at Burning Man or the immersive environments of EDC. In essence, these festivals offer a modern return to ritualistic experiences, allowing people to tap into deep human needs for meaning, community, and transcendence, echoing the profound attachments of ancient ceremonies. Okay, kids, this was your lesson 101, how to create cults. Here's the thing about rituals. Studies suggest they're less about the moon and more about us. Psychologists have found that rituals, whether it's meditating under moonlight or throwing salt over your shoulder, help us feel in control of our chaotic lives. Studies like those by Harvard psychologist Ellen Langer suggest that structured actions, even seemingly symbolic ones, provide a sense of order and predictability. They're grounding practices that give meaning to random events, effectively reducing anxiety and creating a mental framework for handling uncertainty. Basically, it's less about the moon and more about you convincing yourself that your life's a little less of a dumpster fire. And hey, if it works, who's to judge? In the end, it doesn't matter if the moon's powers are real or not. What's proving true is your belief system. If you believe the moon's making you feel better, it probably is, because your brain is now making decisions based on that belief. Self-fulfilling prophecy.
Does anyone hear them when they fall?
Now, let's mosey on about the moon landing hoax. But there were no stars in the photos, they cry. Of course not, Karen. Cameras back then weren't designed to pick up faint starlight in a brightly lit foreground. It's called physics. Also, who took those photos? Well, great question. The astronauts themselves did. NASA equipped them with specially designed Hasselblad cameras that were either mounted on their chests or handheld. These cameras were rugged, modified to function in extreme temperatures, and captured high-quality images. Some photos were even taken using cameras mounted on the lunar module itself, allowing for remote operation. So, why were the photos in color? Well, because in the 1960s, color film was well developed, and NASA had access to cutting-edge technology. Even though color photography wasn't common in everyday life, it was very much available for professional use. Moon rocks apparently exist. We've brought them back. I've personally seen one in the Epcot Center in Florida. For me, it looked like a kitchen granite stone, but what the hell would I know? They have unique isotopic signatures and structures that can't be replicated on Earth. Plus, we left laser reflectors up there which still bounce signals back till today. Unless you think someone hiked up there to install them, honestly, if NASA had faked all of this, it would have been harder than actually going to the moon. Eclipses are like the moon's way of saying, hey, look at me. They're beautiful and rare enough to make us feel special for living on Earth. Solar eclipses steal the show, with their dramatic alignment of the sun, moon, and Earth casting an eerie shadow that has been studied for centuries. Historically, eclipses helped ancient astronomers understand celestial mechanics and even measure distances in space. Meanwhile, lunar eclipses are like the moody indie film version, quietly cool and a bit underrated, but scientifically significant too, as they showcase Earth's shadow on the moon, offering insights into our planet's size and shape. And let's talk about the supermoons. They're closer to Earth, so they look bigger, but that's it. You see, tell that to the guy who's already setting up his telescope and writing poetry about it. Still, their sheer size can feel impactful, reminding us of the gravitational dance between Earth and its satellite. So, does the moon control us? Metaphorically, maybe. It's a symbol of change, mystery, and all that deep stuff people post about on Pinterest. But practically, nope. The moon couldn't care less about your mood swings or your astrology chart. But for those who follow astrology, the moon plays a key role as the ruler of emotions and intuition. Its phases are believed to influence everything from energy levels to decision-making cycles. Whether you buy into it or not, it's fascinating to see how the moon has managed to stay so relevant in human interpretation of the cosmos. But you know what? Maybe that's why we love it. It's just there. A quiet, unbothered presence reminding us that the universe is bigger than our problems. It's fascinating how many of these ancient rituals, with their deep connection to nature and the cosmos, have been passed down over millennia. In our modern world, it often feels like we've progressed beyond such practices, but the reality is a bit more nuanced. First, The notion that we know better today often comes from a combination of advancements in science, technology, and a cultural shift toward rationalism. Ancient rituals are based on what people at the time understood, an interplay of spiritual beliefs, natural observations, and the mystery of the universe. The moon, for example, was seen not just as a celestial body, but as a symbol of cycles, control over time, and even divine entity. Science has since provided explanations for lunar phases, eclipses, and tides, which demystifies many aspects of what our ancestors found magical or spiritual. However, just because science offers logical explanations, it doesn't necessarily mean it supersedes the profound human connection to these ancient practices. Many of these rituals were symbolic and ritualistic, offering a sense of control or understanding in an unpredictable world. The act of performing them was often about personal transformation, community bonding, or expressing desires or fears, things that haven't disappeared even in our modern age. From a psychological and emotional perspective, these rituals provided a sense of meaning in a world that often felt chaotic.
Nobody cares about the club.
Today, many people seek that same meaning, but it often comes through science, technology, or personal development rather than ancient practices. In a way, modern cultures move away from the mystical, might be rooted in the desire for certainty that science provides. But it's also worth acknowledging that many ancient practices were not about certainty. They were about mystery, connection, and the unknown. So while we can look at those ancient rituals with the knowledge that we have today and explain their origins through history and science, it doesn't necessarily make them wrong. They represent a way of understanding the world that's rooted in a much different relationship with the unknown. The question then might not be about whether we know better, but whether we've lost something valuable in our disconnection from that deeper, intuitive way of thinking. So what did we learn? The moon is beautiful, scientifically fascinating, and culturally overhyped. But beyond the surface, it's a reminder of our shared human curiosity. From ancient rituals to modern memes, the moon reflects our need to find meaning in the universe and connect with something bigger than ourselves. So maybe the real power of the moon lies in what it inspires within us. Now go outside, look up, and appreciate it. Just don't start howling. Well, that's another 20 minutes we'll never get back. If anyone was listening, I sincerely thank you.
With pens in hand, questions deep, ain't life grand.
Here's our golden nugget for the day. Ever notice how the moon's always up there, pulling at the tides like it's some cosmic janitor? And yet, here we are, trying to manage our own issues. Maybe we should take a hint from the moon. It doesn't apologize for its phases. It just does its thing, waxing, waning, and showing up even when it's not at its brightest. So next time you're feeling off, just remember, even the moon has its dark days, and still it manages to light up the night sky.
We're here, humor cuts away the fear. Elevate your heart, your mind. In the chaos, peace we'll find. Unravel thoughts like
Until next time, keep being your amazing, chaotic, perfectly imperfect self. Oh, and before you go, do me a tiny favor. Hit follow, leave a comment, drop a review. What you say truly matters to me, like deeply. Your support is the fuel for the circus train, and I promise to keep trying to improve. I'm on a mission to prove that even if you think you're a nobody or you're not famous, you can still be someone for somebody. Take care, stay curious, and remember, nobody cares about the chickens, but there's always someone out there under the moonlight that definitely cares about you.
Mom, somebody just followed me.
let it fly, find new ways till we die.
This show is sponsored by LookChaos.co, www.lechaos.co. Genderless, sustainable, trendy lifestyle.
Oh!